Chief guest of the event, Shri Jishnu Varma ji, the Honorable Governor of Telangana State. I now request Shri Jishnu Varma ji to kindly give his valuable message.
C.S. Gopal Reddy, IPS, Vice President FGG, Sri Soma Srinivas Reddy, Secretary FGG, respected dignitaries, esteemed guests of honor, members of the Forum of Good Governance, and dear friends. First, let me just start with my opening comments that regarding the resilience of the Indian democracy. When we attained freedom in 1947, the freedom was marred by a partition of the country that led to the formation of another country next to us. But the Indian democracy survived the tremors of partition. In 1975, again, we had the emergency imposed that had shaken the roots of democracy in this country. But in 2 or 3 years, the people of India and a strong democracy survived that also. I am pointing this out to just say that the Indian democracy is maturing every day. It's not to say that everything is okay, that we should not want change. Change is a way of life that is always needed. Progress is a way of life. Unless you progress and take a step forward, things don't happen. Yes, there is need for change to clean public life. There's a need to change on neutrality of police. There's a need to change the system of elections. There's a need to look into the pendency of cases. But all that, saying all that, we must also respect the democracy of India that we have. A democracy that is hard-earned. And if you compare our democracy with the countries which had also achieved democracy near about the same time, you will see the difference. I don't want to name any countries here, but if you name the countries and you look at the countries that gained emergency, achieved democracy at the same time as we had, and if you see their state or the democracy in their countries and our democracy, you will see the great change. You will see the great difference between the vibrant Indian democracy and the other countries. So this is a very optimistic view. And when the Honorable Prime Minister says Sabka Vikas, then he says in the last line, Sabka Prayas. The Sabka Prayas is very, very important because we have a huge democracy. As one speaker was saying, 90 crore voters vote. It is the biggest democratic exercise in the world. And we opted during our formation of our constitution, we opted for universal adult franchise. Adult franchise, regardless of caste, sex, gender, education, it was for all. Sabka Saath. As the Prime Minister says, it was for Sabka Saath and Sabka Prayas and for Sabka Vikas. That was the dictum of Indian democracy that we adopted, that had been adopted by our forefathers. And today we stand on that platform. There is much to do. And Forum for Good Governance is one of those bodies where we discuss, today we are discussing at least. We are discussing about pendency of cases. We are discussing the neutrality of police force. What should be done to make the police more efficient? We are discussing what is the best form of elections. As the executive, judiciary, legislature, and the press are pillars of democracy, so is the civic society. The civic society is the watchdog of democracy. That is where Sabka Prayas comes, to the civic society. And we acknowledge the importance of civil society in democracy. No democracy can function without the presence of civil society, civil activism. Everything is required. And we have it in India. Today we are discussing. We are looking for ways. We are looking how to use technology to free our democracy, to make it more free, make it more independent, make it more vibrant, make it more inclusive. How technology can play a game in this sphere of things. And it is very encouraging to be in Hyderabad and with such a esteemed dais of all ex-officers of the IFS, IPS, IAS, giving inputs. I'm sure things will move on. But it takes time for things to mature. And in our concern, we are a little impatient because we want things done yesterday, not today. And rightly so. Rightly so. It is the impatience of the nation that gives its energy. And India is a young country, a very old civilization, but a very young country, with age groups of under 35 forming around 60 and above percentage of the population. That mixture is not always got in the history of the world. Our oldest democracy, the mother of democracies, the oldest civilization, and the youngest nation. This is a combination that is unique And we are at that juncture of history where this combination is today evident in India. So we have a lot to look forward to. We will criticize, we will discuss, we will look for ways. Those are the part and parcel of democratic, traditions. And I found the discussion very enlightening. All experienced people giving their views. Of course, two people spoken. I will understand Telugu as it comes. It's very close to Sanskrit. And I know Sanskrit quite well. So I think I will catch on. I keep telling my ADC also, I'm catching on slowly. And I wish this organization the very best. And I enjoyed the deliberations. It was free, frank, free from pretensions at least, frank. And it had some positive ideas. A discussion without positive ideas is only criticism and blame game. But every person who spoke gave a positive idea. I think your president even cited the idea of transition of power, how it takes place in India. When Atalji lost by one vote, he went straight to the president and put it in his papers. That is India. That is the resilience of India. You see the other nations, people in power don't want to move. Why by one vote? If they lose by a few thousands of votes, they don't want to move. Here we move on. The transition is smooth. Credit goes to the people of India. Because the political leaders know the people want democracy. Whatever may be the faults, whatever may be the dark sides of Indian democracy, the glowing sign is that people want democracy. People want strong institutions. People want fair elections. People want development. So when we talk of Viksit Bharat in 2047, we are not only talking about economic welfare of the people. We want an economy, of course, that is important nowadays, inclusive, to include the last man on the steps. We want an economy that will touch the last man on the step. We want a society that is free from exploitation. We want an education system that stresses on values, that stresses on quality less on quantity. Those are high ideals, but your ideals need to be high. India always had lofty ideals. And because we had lofty ideals, we are a very vibrant democracy. India had all those lofty ideals, and this also, Viksit Bharat, is also a lofty ideal that we will pursue with all our strength. Not only the government, the people of India want it. The people of Bharat want it. Now India has come of age. Economically, we are one of the most fastest growing or the fastest growing economy. And we are discussing things like police neutrality. We are discussing about cleaning public life. We are discussing about fairer elections. We are discussing about institutional freedoms. How many countries discuss that? We are discussing about delivery to the last mile. We are discussing about women empowerment. These are very, very vibrant subjects. Subjects that will strengthen our democracy. We are criticizing. We are looking for ways. The India of today is impatient, waiting at the threshold of change. India of today is vibrant with a young population, waiting to go, to fly to the skies. It is only a matter of time because we know the people are ready. When the people are ready, everything else is ready. And I am very happy to be here. And I thank all the esteemed people here on the dais who have put in so much work and so much of inputs into this discussion. And I thank you all for being here and for inviting me. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.